Okay, welcome back everybody to another live stream. I will be working once again on the Komorebi tiling window manager for Windows, and I imagine in this stream, if you haven't already realized, you will realize that I am just making everything up as I go along. So in the last live stream, I implemented a new command, right? So that new command was Komorebi C monitor work area offset. And what this command allows us to do is to set an offset for the work area in which the tiling will take place on a per monitor basis. So my primary display, as you might be able to see on the screen right now, the display behind me, is an ultra-wide monitor, which means that it's not quite the same aspect ratio as YouTube expects, right, for this sort of stream. So what I wanted to do was, on the stream, actually show you guys with this new command how I can make my ultra-wide monitor fit the stream a little bit better. So I was playing around with some values, so we're going to go for the monitor at index 0. There's our primary monitor, and we're going to set the offset to be 1000 from the left, 0 from the right, 0 from the top, sorry, another 1000 from the left, and 0 from the bottom. And with that, yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks more like a widescreen layout now. What you can't see on the stream is all the way on the left side here we have a bunch of space. And I think I'll use that for floating windows or something, but since my webcam is monitored, is mounted on the right side of my monitor, I figured it was best to just push everything over to the right. So if you take a look here in my terminal, I have my komorebi.ahk file. This is the auto hotkey file, which is going to, well, it's not, which already does contain all of my configuration. So I've added a couple of things in here. Commented out, need to update some comments. So this one is for regular use. So usually I just have a little bit of, oh gosh, no. Right, let me, I forget that I always have, automatic configuration loading or reloading enabled. So let me just hit that, save it, and let the configuration propagate. Okay. Alright, so usually I have a little bit of an offset from the bottom so that I have a bit of space here between my fancy start menu, I guess it's technically a dock now, and the rest of the work area. And yeah, I am gonna continue using that for regular use, but I have this this specific monitor work offset configuration for when I am live streaming, so that it looks how it's supposed to on the stream. The other change that I will be making for my live streaming setup in widescreen is setting my default workspace layout rule to BSP. Since I started using the ultra-wide monitor, I've been using this ultra-wide vertical stack as my primary layout rule, and then once I reach 4 for Windows open on this monitor, it switches to a custom layout. But I find that on the widescreen, just the regular widescreen display, or at least that aspect ratio, this ultra-wide vertical stack is not very ergonomic, and that BSP is better suited. So, with that being said, let me just post a link in the Discord for anybody who wants to join in. All right. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yesterday, when I was running Clippy, we saw a whole bunch of Clippy lints that could have been applied. So I figured today on the stream we could go through some of these. Okay, I guess we can start from here, right? Instead of not using that anymore, why don't we just full screen this? Actually, technically that's monocle mode. So that is in monocle mode, and we can start looking at some of these Clippy lints. The first one that we have is empty string is being created manually. Don't do this. Basically, you can just use string.new. So I think that is more than reasonable. Let's do it. Easy. I think we have another one here, which is, yeah, it's just the equivalent of pushing a new line for formatting. So let's do that as well. Very nice. Let's rerun this. So you know when I'm not using IntelliJ, I was actually saying on the Discord earlier, somebody asked me, hey, what happened to your setup with like LunaVim, NeoVim, and Helix and all that? My dev env is such a mess right now. Like, there are some projects that I'll use IntelliJ for, some that I'll use LunaVim for, some that I'm even using VS Code for. It's it's pretty messy. All right, let's see. Use option map or instead of an if let else. Okay. Let's see what it does. See, I'm not really particularly used to writing this kind of functional code. I'm much more comfortable with the slightly more primitive if-else's and the for loops. But, you know, whenever these kind of lints make it in, I figure, you know, enough people will be using them in the Rust community that it just makes sense to add them. My main worry often actually is that if I make the code look like too clever or too functional, it's going to be even harder for people who may want to contribute to feel comfortable contributing, or to, you know, to get the necessary context around the code to feel comfortable contributing. So, you know, I tend to avoid this sort of stuff, but if Clippy says it's okay, I guess it's okay. I mean, when you look at I think this is like a really similar lint, right? And for me, like, if I'm matching on the column and I've got, you know, none, false, some is going to do some other stuff, and then it's going to figure out whether it's true or false. I find this infinitely more readable, right? The match expressions in Rust in general, I think, are incredibly legible and easy to follow. But here, for example, if you look at map or, the default case is the first argument, so that is the equivalent of what we're doing if we get a none here. And then we're saying if it is possible to map that column, which is an optional, to a concrete type, or in this case a reference to a concrete type, then run this other match and do whatever you're doing. I don't know. I think maybe I'll get more and more used to it as these lints get suggested more and more. It's still just a little bit strange for me to see, but as I say, I think this is okay as long as it comes from our Lord and Savior Clippy. All right, we got another one. This one is a bit messy. You know, sometimes I remember when I'm writing code like this, I've got if, let, okay, else. So I think maybe in this case actually will look a lot neater. Let's see. So we're gonna try and read this config home. Oh, I see red already. That's not good. Closure is expected to take one argument, but takes 0 arguments. Okay, I guess that's because this returns an error. Yeah, so it's a result type. And so actually we're not doing anything with the error here. I don't know if I can let's go back and do a comparison. Right, so we were actually not using the error here, right? We're doing if, let, okay on the home path if you know, the result is of type okay and it contains this home path, do some stuff, otherwise do this. And in this else here, there's no reference to what the error value might be wrapped inside the error type of or the error variant of the result type. So okay, that makes sense. But that does mean that we need to explicitly say that this closure will take a single error argument, but we're ignoring it and we're just going to get the default home dir, and we have bigger problems if there is no home directory, so I think it's okay to do an expect there. Okay, so that is our default case. Then if we are able to map that result to a concrete home path, we do all of this. Otherwise, we panic because that whatever it was set to is not a valid directory. We can't go ahead in that case. Let's rerun this. We got a lot of stuff here. Let's just take the first one. This is the same thing, but in Komorebi C when we get this up here. Yeah, so we can do that. And of course, we're just going to have to account for that ignored error, some fancy formatting. I'm going to come back to these because I don't know what the frick is going on with that. Okay, what function is this? Move container to workspace. Alright, so we're trying to figure out the target workspace, this get mutable on the workspace index returns an option, I believe. Yeah. And if there is nothing, we have this this default case. Otherwise, we're returning the workspace reference, the mutable workspace reference. So let's apply this. Map or else. Okay, so we have a different error here. Closure requires unique access to workspaces, but it is already borrowed. This is the one that I came up against yesterday, and I reverted. Let me see. Go back one more. So what is the actual lint? Actually, this is in nursery. So you know, actually, what a habit that I got into very, very early on was we can take a look here. I won on absolutely everything, on nursery, on pedantic, and then I just do individual allows, and I think this is gonna be a case where I allow option if let else. Allow clippy, option if let else. Okay, let's see if that's happy. Yeah, I'm good with that. So there's a lot of these. The borrowed extension implements the required traits. What does that even? Oh, it's a needless borrow. So this is suggesting that I change it to. I don't know if you're happy with it, Clippy. I am also happy with it. Yeah, all these weak warnings. All right, so let's just apply this to all of them. Run again, just to make sure everything is still looking good. Okay, so socket, 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 socket. Yeah, that's cool. Let's apply all of these changes as well. And we should be oh no. Oh, did I not apply? Oh, okay. It should be applied now. Let's see. Cool. Let's fund this. Nice. And let's commit this. See what we're committing. So that is the change to prefer string new instead of from with an empty string. It's the same one. This is our refactor to use map or instead of doing those matches. Same one again. This is another map or else. Yeah. This is the one that we decided to allow. These are all of the socket references. This is another map or else. Sockets. I think the remainder of these will be sockets. Alright, that's pretty cool. So let me. Alright, I think we can kill this now. Close that out. So I'm gonna. I have it running right now. Actually, you can tell because I have the blue border around. So I'm gonna stop that, and I'm gonna run just install. Just is really cool, by the way. If you haven't heard of Just, so it works with a Just file, which is very similar to a make file, but the thing that I really like about this is that no matter which directory, like you could be nested all the way down like here in the terminal, right, wherever this is, and you can still run Just and the target. And it just like it resolves all the paths properly, and it's just very nice. So what's happening when I run just install? It will run just install Komorebi C, then we'll run just install Komorebi. Then it will generate the latest version of the auto hotkey library, and then it will get the latest versions of these files in my configuration directory and bring them here to the root of the project directory so that they can be committed. Right, so let's make sure everything is still working. Started looking good. We have our border. Everything on my other screen is also tiling nicely. That's nice. Okay. So did I stage all of that? I did. So let's commit this. So, let me open up a window. So one thing I very often, very often struggle with is remembering the formats of my commits. Right, let's bring this over here. When was the last time I did clippy stuff? No, it's not on the first page. Is it on? No, not on the second page. I'm sure there's probably a way better way to do this on the command line. But unfortunately I don't know it. But in any case, I found it eventually, so I use the refactor type clippy apply various lint fixes. Do I give? I don't think I give. No, I don't give any additional information. That's pretty cool. No breaking changes. Didn't affect any open issues. We can just push that, right? We'll see that come here. And whenever a commit gets pushed to the master branch, it will kick off. It'll kick off a build. And you may or may not know, well, it won't be on this one is just starting, but if we go to a previous build, right, just spread this across. If you go to a previous build, you'll see some, well, hopefully the majority of these have ticks, which mean that it built without any issues. And then you can go into details and go to summary, and ooh, I did not know that. The set command output is deprecated and will be disabled soon. Please upgrade to using environment files. All right, I'll take a look at that offline. But what I wanted to show you was this part at the bottom, artifacts. This will download a zip file with the built binaries Komorebi and Komorebi C, so that if you ever want to try out a specific version based off of a specific commit, you don't have a Rust toolchain set up to compile on your own, you can always grab it from there. And this is also the case for commits on hotfix and feature branches as well. So I think that was all that I was going to do today. Was there anything else? No, I don't think so. So to summarize, we have this new command which allows us to change the work area offset for a specific monitor. This is very useful if you have an ultra-wide monitor and you are trying to stream in a widescreen aspect ratio. This is actually what I'm doing right now. If you want everything to be shifted towards the right of your ultra-wide monitor, as it is on mine right now, these are the values that you can put in. This first value is going to be the monitor index. I'm assuming it's going to be 0 in the majority of the cases as the primary monitor, and then you just want 1000 offset on the left and 1000 offset on the right. Cool. Well, that was it for this live stream. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. please come and visit us on the Discord. If you are interested in contributing, there are a whole bunch of issues on the GitHub repository. I believe you should be able to filter by good first issue. There are quite a few of them if you're interested in picking them up. As I say, drop by the Discord. We can discuss any of them. We can also discuss them on the issues. I'm sure we can find a good way for you to get productive very quickly if you would like to begin to contribute. And besides that, if you are somebody who uses Komorebi as part of your professional workflow, your personal workflow, if you I mean, I don't know that many people who can just use a tiling window manager part-time. So if you do use it and you find it valuable and you would like to support the development, to support me, you can come over to the GitHub page and you'll find a little sponsor button here. And there are a bunch of different tiers, but you can even just sponsor for like $1 a month. I don't think you can go lower than $1, but anything is appreciated. All right, friends, that is everything for today. Hope you stay safe, healthy, and happy, and I will see you on the next stream.